All right, today we're diving into the mind of the 19th century philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer. He asks a question that, honestly, still kind of haunts us. Why is lasting satisfaction so incredibly hard to find? Let's get into it.
Really think about it. You know that feeling, right? You get the promotion, you buy the new gadget, you start that relationship you were dreaming about, and for a moment, it's great. But then what? The feeling just fades, and pretty soon, you're on to the next thing. So what's going on? Why does the goalpost for happiness always seem to be moving?
Well, for Schopenhauer, this constant chase isn't just some personality quirk. Nope. He saw it as the fundamental structure of our entire existence. It's like we're all stuck running in a race that's impossible to win.
This cycle probably sounds super familiar. We start off wanting something, feeling like something is missing. This feeling of lack, this desire, that's our motivation. We see it everywhere in our culture, the next phone, the next vacation. We work, we achieve the goal, and for a split second, that feeling of lack is gone. But it is just a moment. Before we even realize it, a new desire is bubbling up, and bam, we're right back at the starting line.
Now, here's where it gets really wild. For him, this isn't just about psychology or brain chemistry. He believed the reason we are stuck in this loop is rooted in the very fabric of reality itself. And his explanation is exactly what we're going to unpack.
Okay, so to get his argument, you first have to understand his most fundamental idea, that the world we experience every day isn't the whole story. He argued that reality has two distinct but completely connected sides. On one side, you have what he called the world as representation. This is everything you perceive with your senses, the screen you're looking at, the sounds you're hearing. It's the world of individual things, separate from each other. But behind all that, Schopenhauer says there's a deeper, hidden reality, the world as will. And this isn't a collection of separate things, it's one single, unified, striving force that he called the thing in itself.
This right here is the absolute key to his whole philosophy. And just to be clear, when he says will, he doesn't mean your willpower to get out of bed in the morning. No, it's something much, much bigger than that.
The best way to think of the will is as the inner engine of the universe. It's the raw, unconscious, primal energy that drives literally everything that exists.
This force isn't intelligent. It isn't rational. It doesn't have some grand plan or a final goal it's working towards. It is simply a blind, restless, unending urge. It just strives for the sake of striving. It's like the universe is just filled with this cosmic energy of wanting, with no finish line.
So for Schopenhauer, everything in our world, every rock, every plant, every single person is just an outward expression, an objectification of this one single underlying will. And he saw this will absolutely everywhere. The force that makes a stone fall to the earth, that's the will. The relentless way a plant pushes towards sunlight, that's the will. The instinct that drives an animal to hunt or mate, yep, that's the will. And our own desires for food, for success, for love, are just the most complex, self-aware version of that very same blind striving force.
Now, this is where it gets really personal and maybe a little strange. Schopenhauer argues that you don't just have a body that's controlled by your will, he says your body quite literally is the will made visible.
Think about it like this. Your teeth, jaw, and stomach are the physical manifestation of the will's desire to eat. Your legs are the will to move, made real. Your entire physical being, with all of its needs and urges, is basically a living picture of the endless striving that is your inner nature.
So, what's the consequence of being a manifestation of a blind, endless, striving will? Well, according to Schopenhauer, it's not a happy one. He describes the whole human condition with one powerful metaphor.
This is maybe his most famous line. For him, these two things are the poles of our existence. There is no stable, happy middle ground. We are just constantly swinging from one to the other.
Let's break this down. On one side, you've got pain. For Schopenhauer, pain is what we feel whenever we want something we don't have. It's the stress of the job hunt, the ache of loneliness, even that modern fear of missing out from social media. This, he says, is our default state. On the other side is boredom. This is that dreadful, empty feeling we get after a desire is satisfied. The will is quiet for a moment, and we're left with this sense of, what now? It's the aimless scrolling after you've bought the thing, the Sunday evening dread when the weekend's over. Then, a new desire pops up to save us from the boredom, which just creates new pain, and the pendulum swings right back.
And that is the absolute core of the problem. If our inner nature is an endless force of striving, then by its very definition, it can never be permanently satisfied. Any satisfaction is just a brief pause, a temporary truce in a war that can never truly be won. So, after laying all of this out, where does Schopenhauer leave us? Well, it is, admittedly, a pretty grim picture of the human condition. Let's just boil down the Schopenhauerian view. The universe isn't rational. It's driven by a blind, striving will. Our individual lives are just one tiny expression of this endless will, and because the will's nature is to strive, our nature is to suffer. Therefore, lasting happiness is impossible, because the will inside us can never be permanently satisfied. It's an illusion.
And that's the huge question he leaves us with. It's a challenging, even a disturbing thought, right? If the very engine of our existence is designed for a race with no finish line, what are we supposed to do in our search for peace and happiness? It certainly makes you look at that next must-have item or that next life goal a little differently, doesn't it?